Hey there, this is Becca with YouCanBookMe. Did you ever miss a call because you're just too busy or you're feeling overwhelmed and you just feel like you can't take any more in your schedule? It's not just frustrating, it's potentially missed revenue for your business, and that's just going to add to the load. It doesn't work. Last minute bookings, calendar clashes, never ending admin, it just makes your day feel out of hand. But it doesn't have to. With just a few settings in your calendar, you can take control of your scheduling so that it feels less overwhelming and more suited to what actually works for you, because that's what it should be doing, anyways. The first feature I want to talk about today is meeting requests. You don't have to meet with everybody who wants to meet with you. In fact, I always have meeting requests turned on because I want to consent as to whether or not I want to meet with that booker. Maybe it's somebody who's just looking to pitch me and I just don't have the bandwidth for it. I want to be able to politely decline without thinking about it. So with meeting requests, you can control which bookings get confirmed and which ones receive a polite no thank you message that you've written. So it's in your tone and it's polite, but they're not going to use your time up. This is really impactful because it controls who gets on your calendar and when. The next feature is such a big deal for preventing burnout, and that's limiting the number of bookings that you're able to take in a day. Because I've taken 14 meetings in a day, and by the end of it, my goodness, I needed a strong cup of coffee. That's just too much in a day, and you have no time to look at anything else, never mind follow up with your clients. You can set the maximum number of bookings that can be scheduled in your day, and your system will not let you take more bookings than that. It automatically said, do I want to max out at 10 bookings a day? Heck no, I have stuff to do. Let's go down to 3. That's it. I'm only going to take 3 meetings a day because for me, that gives me enough bandwidth to do my actual job, but still plenty of availability if somebody wants to chat with me. Let's hit save, and my schedule will adjust accordingly. This next feature is pretty cool. You can choose how to display your availability so that it best showcases your availability to your bookers. Because at the end of the day, you control your availability. So showcase it in a way to your customers that makes the most sense. You can show it by month. You can show it by day, where they can click through along the top. Or you can show an agenda view. These each look great, but it kind of depends on your availability to pick the one that showcases your availability in the nicest way for your customers. It makes it feel like you're giving them options, but you're protecting your bandwidth by only offering the times that you want to offer. Let me show you some examples. You could do a month view. This is great if you don't have availability every day. Maybe you only take meetings on Mondays and Fridays, and that's okay. But this way people can see at a glance. They want a Monday or do they want a Friday? That's all there is. So choose what makes best sense for your booker and display it in a way that just looks really clean and easy to navigate. Maybe you have tons of availability. Maybe you're happy to meet whenever. It's all good. We set that 3 meeting a day limit, and that's super duper helpful. But maybe you don't want to limit when. Anytime. Maybe you're down to meet between 7 a.m. and 3:30 p.m. Cool. That's fabulous. You can show it off in a day view to give your customers the maximum amount of view into like availability and time slots throughout their day, which is awesome. Finally, you can also show an agenda view. This is awesome if you have some variation in your availability. Maybe you have different volume of appointments depending on the day. Maybe Wednesdays you take a little bit less meetings. Maybe you decide you're starting at 1 in the morning on Fridays for some silly reason, but you're not going to start till 9 in the morning on Wednesdays. I like that Wednesday schedule a little bit better personally. If you're going to have a big swing in what days are going to have what time available, this agenda view is fabulous for showing this option to your customers. This next feature is really important. Keep your schedule conflict-free. Double bookings are not necessary. They don't need to happen. Let's talk about it. You can keep your team, your work, your personal calendars, all those calendars that run your life, they should all be syncing on your YouCanBookMe account. You can check up to 6 calendars simultaneously, automatically, to make sure that you're never conflicted. Let me talk you through my example here. First, we've got Becca Ryan. Hey, that's me. What's up? That's my personal calendar where I've got things like my CrossFit classes or my kids' soccer schedule or whatever the heck else I've got going on. Maybe I'm going to a Green Day concert. I wish. Awesome. So alive. They are so fun. But I digress. Holidays in Canada. I work for a company based out of a different country. I don't plan on working or taking meetings on a Canadian holiday. I'm spending those with my friends. I'm spending those with my family. I'm having a pina colada on the beach. I am not working. So I've got it checking holidays in Canada to make sure that, well, I don't work for a Canadian company. I shouldn't take meetings on Canadian holidays because I get those off. Edmonton Oilers. If you are a hockey fan, you should be cheering for the Oilers. We've got McDavid. We've got Draisaitl. We're going to win the dang cup. I believe in us. I digress. But I don't want to take meetings when my boys are on the ice. I want to sit down on my couch, cracking a cold one, and cheering on my team because it's better luck that way, isn't it? So I've got it checking my hockey schedule. But maybe that's your kid's soccer schedule. Maybe that's your spouse's schedule. Maybe it's aligning with like when you have childcare. There's so many different schedules. I've got main calendar. That is when I am working. That's my business schedule. That's got to be in there, right? I've got Purity Health and Wellness. That's my physio. Don't do silly things on snowboards, friends, but I want to make sure that I don't have meetings when I should be taking care of myself personally. But if you have a side hustle, if you have other things going on, connect those calendars too. And then finally, I've got my travel calendar. That is kind of a work tool that we use, but also I don't want to be taking meetings if I'm on an airplane. It's not going to work. No way. So just a fun example here. I've got 6 calendars connected. And if you go to book me on this, it is going to automatically scan all of them and make sure that I am free on every single one of those schedules before it will give a time to my bookers. That's a pretty impactful move, right? Finally, let's talk about prep time and let's talk about time between meetings. They're both pretty impactful. And my goodness, I couldn't live without them. First of all, right there at the top, add paddings between bookings. This means space between your meetings because, holy man, have you ever gotten out of one heck of a long meeting? You're exhausted. You might need a cup of coffee. You're starving. You have follow-ups from that meeting you just got out of, but you have back-to-back-to-back-to-back-to-backs. Oh my Lord. By the time you're done that third meeting, you don't even remember what you talked about in that first one. It is gone. Long gone from your memory, and those follow-ups probably went out the window if you're me. Oops, but that's okay because we can add padding between our bookings so that you have space between meetings always. Let's set it up. Maybe I want 0 minutes. Heck no. I like honestly a good half an hour. It lets me take a human moment if I need it, get a coffee, do what I need to do any follow-ups, take my notes, do whatever I need to take care of. See if I have any urgent Slack messages, who knows? But I like a 30-minute padding between my meetings. Maybe you want an hour. Maybe you want something custom. Let's get weird here. Let's go with 1 hour and 14 minutes between meetings. Why? I don't know, but we can do it. So if 1 hour and 14 minutes is the padding you want between meetings, let her rip, bud. There's some Canadianism for you. But we now have a 1 hour and 14-minute pad between every booking. So that's the least amount of time I can have between a meeting ever is that chunk. What about custom booking notices? So by default, people can book me as long as I have a 2-hour heads up. And that's all fine and dandy if that works for you. But that doesn't work for me because I only take meetings when I have childcare. So if you only give me a 2-hour heads up, there is no way I can get a babysitter in that time. That's not happening. And also, I just want more notice. I need to be able to prepare. I need to, prep from a meeting, no way. I don't want 2 hours notice. We can also give a maximum amount booking notice up to a year. So maybe I'm letting people book me a year in advance or as little as 2 hours in advance. Heck no, we're changing all of this. I like a solid 24 hours heads up. I want to know at least a day before. Julia, let's go 36 hours. Let's go a day and a half. I want to be able to be prepped. I want to be organized. I want to dress for the meeting. Maybe it's not cool. I roll up in a Green Day t-shirt to this meeting. Maybe it is. Maybe I'm just recording content for YouTube and a Green Day concert t-shirt is super comfy. But maybe I need a dress shirt. Maybe I need a company golf tee. I don't know what I need. But I want those 36 hours to prep, to look the part, and to know my stuff. Maximum booking notice. Do you actually know what you're doing a year from today? If you do, great. Kudos to you, man. I have no clue where I'm going to be next September. Goodness, that's a year from now. So I like to set this way smaller because I got to plan my life. I don't know. I bounce back and forth between 2 different provinces sometimes. Like, where am I going to be? I don't know. So let's just say 30 days. That's all I need. If somebody needs to meet with me 3 months from now, they can email me, sure, and I'll like make an exception. But I don't think I've ever had a colleague need to meet with me more than 30 days in advance notice for a meeting. Maybe if you're like a trainer and you're pre-booking like 18 sessions in a row, fabulous. But for me personally, you don't need to book more than 30 days in advance. I don't know my life that ahead of time. So we're going to hit save. Today, the day of this recording, is actually the 7th. It's not letting me book anything until the 9th because it has the 36-hour preliminary time in advance. So there's no availability before then anymore. It's gone. We've got all sorts of time available here, but if I book the 7 a.m., it's not going to leave any more slots until an hour and 14 minutes later, because that's what we decided. And if we look at the calendar, there's only 30 days worth of availability. If you want to book me on Halloween, I'm sorry. It's too soon. It's too soon. You can start decorating for Halloween in September, but you're not booking me for Halloween quite yet. So it made sure to cut it off at that 30-day mark. This means you can control when people book you, how soon people book you, how it looks when they book you, and everything else you need to make sure that your schedule is conflict-free, clean, and less overwhelming, because no more 14 meetings a day for you. I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off. You are a meeting-aholic, and this is your intervention. We're not doing that anymore. Do your 3 meetings a day, do your 5 meetings a day, and do them when it makes sense for you, with those breaks in between meetings so you can actually feel like a person. As always, if you have any questions at all about online scheduling, you can book me, or anything else at all, reach out to our support team. We're always super thrilled to hear from you, and have the best day.